It's Thursday, time for Chuck and Bob to preview what we think is one of the most exciting weekends of the year, the semi-state weekend. All these teams trying to get to either Ford Field or Lucas Oil Stadium, play in a professional facility. But first, you got to concentrate on business around here. And let's start up in the state of Michigan. We have two Michigan teams still alive. They play their semi-states on Saturday, and that includes St. Joseph and DeWitt. The famed football philosopher Ric Flair once said,
"You did?"
When he wasn't given three big claps and a woo, he said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And that's the problem for the St. Joe Bears this week. They have to beat the defending state champions, DeWitt. Andrew Prattley's team, we know what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to run the football.
Well, they're playing their best football of the year. It turnovers early, and they had to overcome some injuries as well. They've got size in the offensive and defensive line, got some speed in the secondary. Keep an eye on Elijah Turner and Jordan Brown. They're the big ball carriers for them. And how about Troy McGinnis, not only on offense, but on defense as well, along with Matt Lanier. This is a quality team, and as I said, they're playing their best football this season, and they need to be right now.
Last week, the Bears rolled up 311 rushing yards in their regional win over Parma Western, but Parma did have success throwing the ball, and that's a concern this week because DeWitt has one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Michigan in Tyler Holtz.
And Holtz is, he's one of those magic guys we talk about all the time. He's 61% throwing the football, 2,345 yards, and 34 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions on the season. So he's not throwing the ball up for grabs. He's putting it where it needs to be, and he's got some outstanding receivers and running backs. Debris and Flegler carry the ball well. Both of them have 10 touchdowns on the season.
Tommy McIntosh, over 1,000 receiving yards on the year, 17 touchdowns. So DeWitt will be a heavy favorite to get to Ford Field in that Division III semi-state. Now in Division IV, we've talked all year about the explosiveness of Edwardsburg, but they have a team that can match up with them in Hudsonville Unity Christian. Combined, these two teams have scored over 1,300 points this year. My goodness, the scoreboard operator might get a workout at Portage Northern High School. When you look at Edwardsburg, they had their toughest game of the year last week against Grand Rapids South Christian, and they got a huge game out of Andrew Colvin, surprise star with 3 touchdowns and an interception.
It doesn't surprise me whenever there's a new star at Edwardsburg because they have so many players who can really light it up. Walker, McCulley, Allen, Ostrander in the backfield. Jacob Pagura's done a nice job as a quarterback, and Kevin Bartz and his ball club have been here before, and so they're going to be ready for that challenge, no question about it.
And that guy, Isaiah Swartz, not only a terrific running back, but he had a very nice game on defense last week, along with Logan McCauley holding the Sailors in check. But as we mentioned, tougher to do against Hudsonville, ranked number 3 in the state. They have not punted this year. Let me repeat that for you. Hudsonville Unity Christian has not punted once this year. Their low total of a game is 46 points. They run out of the T formation, and they do it very, very well.
They do. They're 12-0, and Coach Tibby, Craig Tibby, has been voted Coach of the Year up there, and he deserves that honor, no question about it. He's got a great group up front, and when you look at the Chandler brothers, Drew's done a nice job, 640 yards, and Cam Chandler, his brother quarterback, is throwing the ball extremely well. They've got a lot of different weapons, and the thing is they also control the ball a little bit as far as the time goes because they just keep moving it, and the chains move right along with them, and they're quick and talented on defense, and John Bozma, big defensive lineman for them.
Could be an offensive showcase Saturday at Portage Northern High School. Let's come back into Indiana Class 1A. Most people expect the 1A state final, and they have since the beginning of the tournament, to be Indianapolis Lutheran and Adams Central. But North Judson would like to throw a wrench into that. The Blue Jays, though, have to find a way to slow down this Flying Jets offense.
Yeah, Ryan Black has done a real nice job running their offense, and last time out they beat South Adams 41-0. So you get those kind of scores in a regional final. You know they're very prolific. Blake Hirely is an outstanding running back, and Zachary Worm on defense, 6'3", 250-pounder. He also plays some tight end, but he's a big factor in that line for Adams Central, and they're a good ball club and expecting to roll, but maybe that's one of the things that North Judson has going for them. Adams Central expects to win.
Joshua Mosser had a big game for the Jets last week on defense, but defense is really what North Judson has built this team on. Yes, we're going to show you offensive highlights because, well, let's face it, they moved the ball pretty well. In this game against Knox, they moved it well through the air. Most of the year, they moved it well on the ground, but I just like this defense led by the cousins Owen and Quentin Frazier, along with Logan Radke. Brett Lambert's put together a nice unit.
Yeah, well, we've talked about Cheyenne Allen and what he does. He's so prolific running the ball and catching the ball. And Aldrich Harper is a quarterback. He's thrown for 932 yards. He's run for another 485. And this is a team that has good balance. It's a team that counts on that defense. And if there's going to be an upset somewhere in the semi-states, this would be a great place to have one for North Judson.
Well, it would be an upset if they could score a bunch of points on Adams Central because the Jets only given up 4.5 points a game. So it's going to be a handful for North Judson, but they are playing at home at Liberty Field. Also playing at home, the Marion Knights, who have been in 6 semi-states, and yet they have not won any of them. They have a rematch with the team that beat them in 2017, Indianapolis Brebeuf, a team that throws the ball very, very well.
Yeah, Brebeuf Jesuits always got a powerhouse of good kids, quality athletes, and even though it took them a little longer to get going this year, they're 11-2 on the season, and Matt Geski's done a nice job. He's only in his second year as a head coach as opposed to Michael Davidson, who's in year number 4. Got twice as much experience, but they're both good young guys, and he's got Nolan Buck as his quarterback, and Buck is a junior, threw for 2,696 yards. Clark Sweet, an outstanding running back, along with Jack Myers, and they've got some good receivers as well. This is a team that scores a lot of points, as you said, Chuck, and there's a reason for that. They believe in their offense. They don't mind outscoring either.
Nolan Buckman, 35 touchdown passes this year. His favorite targets, his running backs, Clark Sweet and Jack Myers, have combined for nearly 200 catches. So that's a challenge for the Marion defense. But really, the Marion defense has been the hallmark of this team as well. I know we've talked a lot about Setefano Sete and Michael Murphy, but I like the fact that their defensive line is finally healthy.
Yeah, and the defensive line is also their offensive line. A lot of those guys go both ways, and they've been very effective since early in the year. They got banged up against Mishawaka, and a lot of those guys had to miss some games. So they're good to have everybody back, and they've made Caleb Lasanga into one of the top running backs in the area. Greg Atkinson, always a threat. There he is, number 1, and an all-state candidate. Bryce Lassane, just a sophomore quarterback, has done a beautiful job. So this is a team that Michael Davidson was patient with. They're 10-3 now in the season, and they're doing a nice job to come off a big win over Hanover Central.
Knights have only allowed 27 points in the tournament so far, so which defense can have the better night may well determine the 3A North representative. LaPorte County will be hosting 2 semi-state games on Friday night, one of them at historic Ames Field. Michigan City trying to punch its ticket to the state finals for the first time ever. They take on a Zionsville team that's 8-5. That record very deceiving, though. They played almost exclusively 6A teams in the regular season. They've matched up well with 5A teams here in the tournament.
Yeah, they lost 4 out of 5 during the middle of the schedule against 6A teams. But they've come back, and all their losses were against 6A teams this year. And Luke Murphy's a sophomore quarterback, 1,400 yards passing. Colin Price is their top running back. He's run for 22 touchdowns and 1,600 yards. And keep an eye on Trey Firestone. He's an outstanding wide receiver. He's also scored 8 touchdowns for this ball club. So Zionsville's Eagles coming in with a lot of offensive talent, but again, the Marion Knights as healthy as they've been all season. It's a good time to be there.
Well, seniors Otto Kyler and Owen Rossell lead that Eagles defense. They've done a nice job this year, but Phil Mason's Michigan City Wolves averaging 37 points a game. That's certainly going to challenge that Zionsville defense, especially as diverse as that Michigan City offense is.
Yeah, I think I mentioned Marion's healthy, but Michigan City is as healthy as they've been all season as they get ready for Zionsville. They won 7 in a row, and they've got a sophomore quarterback, and he's done an outstanding job, Tyler Bush. I mean, these sophomores that are jumping up and playing so well for so many teams that we're aware of, It really speaks well for the future of the game here in Indiana. But they've also got some outstanding running backs. Mario Hatch is a quality young man, and their losses are to Maryville, Chesterton, and Valparaiso, which is a pretty good resume to have going into the tournament.
You look at Raytheon Anderson, Jaden Hart, those are some pretty impressive weapons on offense, but I don't think people talk about that defense enough. They did a very good job against the running game last week of Valparaiso, kept Hayden Vineyard, one of the state's best running backs, in check. Can they do the same thing against this Zionsville team with Price? We'll find out, because the winner gets to play in the 5A game, 7 o'clock Friday night. It should be a raucous atmosphere at Ames Field. Meanwhile, the other LaPorte County semi-state, that's the game we'll be at. Northridge and New Prairie. It's a rematch of the 2014 4A semi-state. Northridge, one of the great stories of this tournament. The Raiders were 5-4 on the season, had to endure running clocks in their last 2 games of the year. They have come out as a house of fire in the tournament, really changed things around.
It's a really neat story, especially when you get to know some of the players and the coaches and how they've come together, especially late in the season. They didn't have any choice, because in the middle of the season they were on their 3rd quarterback. Now their 4th quarterback. They were looking for people to step up, and they've done that. And it's very similar to what we're going to talk about with New Prairie as well. They all had to make some adjustments at midseason. But how about Tag Gott? I mean, this guy was our running back. He's a defensive linebacker, outstanding player, and he winds up being the quarterback on a team that has a regional trophy, a regional championship, and heading for the semi-state.
The key to Northridge's success has been along the line of scrimmage. Well, guess what the key to New Prairie's success is as well? The Cougars really like to just bunch it in between the tackles. They got a big fella, that guy, Hunter Whitenack, committed to Illinois, and they just love to beat on you.
They do, and they've become a real balanced team, because Marshall Kmiecek has been running the ball of late, and that adds that other dimension. He's a good thrower, he's a good runner, and they've still got Noah Mungia, who's got over 1,600 yards rushing. Brock Sink has done a nice job. He's come up, he's got 553 yards. And I really like Ben Frank for a lot of reasons. Offense, defense, and special teams. He's a big contributor, and Jacob Myers on defense has been outstanding.
I can tell you, Amzie Miller Field will be rocking for this one, and we're going to have it for you. You can watch it on the IHSA pay-per-view. We'll be on the air with our pregame at 7:45 on there. It does cost to watch the stream this week. If you want to watch it for free, you can do that. TV 46 has it Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9. So we hope to see you out at the games. If not, until next time, Chuck Freeby for Bob Nagel. Thanks for watching us on social media.